Hey, welcome to this episode of Chad's Beer Reviews featuring Matt from Massive Beer Reviews. What's going on, man?
Not much. How you doing, brother?
It was hard to find a beer that we could both get.
It
And
was and it wasn't because I wasn't quite sure what I could get. But then you said, "Here's my fridge," and I went to
Mhm.
Wegmans, and lo and behold, they had a bunch of them. But they had like 750s and stuff I didn't want to get, so
yeah,
we picked this. Well, I picked this one up basically.
yeah. So the beer we're reviewing is Fuller's London Pride, which I've had many times before. Although this is 4.7 ABV. The only problem is my bottle, it says best before 01/08/2023, which I assume because it's in Europe is August 1st and not January 8th.
Mm-hmm.
But either way, it's pretty old.
And mine, it has a date of January. Mine actually says Jan instead of it having a number,
Uh-huh.
so you don't have to think about it. It actually says 01 Jan 25.
Okay, so that's
So
probably like a year out.
well, no. I'm guessing this is they put 3 years on this. That's my guess, right?
Really? 3 years? Kind of not for a low 4.7. I don't know. Probably a year or two. I don't know if I could see like a Belgian quad being 3.
Oh yeah, you're right. So yeah, maybe only a year. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I poured it into my chemistry beer brewing competition glass. I don't know the name of this glass. It's kind of like hourglass shaped. Um
Yeah,
and
it's that.
it is an amber ale, very clear. Yeah, yours didn't hold much of a head either. I thought this would be like a pretty foamy
No, I
one.
mean, yeah, it wasn't. I didn't have a big head on it. It had a decent head on it, and it comes back pretty decently
Yeah.
with a little swirl there. So, but yeah, I mean, it's super clear. And it's like textbook. It's an amber ale.
Yeah, it matches the color scheme of the bottle pretty nicely,
Trying to
especially in
see
this
if there,
light.
trying to see if there's any difference between our bottles. I don't know if like yours, it might just be the camera, but the color on yours looks a little bit different. But I think that just might be the camera.
Yeah, I think it's just the lighting.
Yeah.
So let's give this thing a whiff.
Hey, there's malt in there.
Yeah, it's very caramelly, and I'm definitely getting oxidation on mine. It's a little cardboardy or a little sherry.
I dare say that even in this one, that's probably relatively fresh. Knowing Wegmans, they're very aggressive with their dating. They don't really let stuff sit in the shelves at all.
Mhm.
To the point where I've found like Chimay's and even like really high end beer in the mix of six because it was going out of date.
Yeah.
Yeah, it still has it. I think it comes with a little touch of oxidation. To be perfectly honest with you,
Yeah.
even fresh, which
Are you picking up any hops on this one? Because to me, all I get is like classic English yeast esters. It's very fruity,
yeah,
very caramelly.
it's all malt. All the malt are belong to us. If I'm gonna sit there and reach for anything, it's gonna be
Mhm.
whatever Goldings or something. Light, like washed out tea baggy, like
Yeah,
tannic stuff. Nothing
I
too
get
crazy.
I get a little butter on this one too, but I think that's kind of normal for a lot of English ales, especially like these pub style, bitters.
Yeah,
Technically, this is a best bitter, but
yeah, and I think that's a lot of times when people think, oh, it's a bitter, so it's gonna be bitter. Well, not
yeah,
that's not so much.
yeah, that's a subject for a different sermon. So
Mhm.
let's dive in here. Cheers.
Cheers, man.
Wow,
Mine actually has a decent bitter into it.
mine's the opposite. Mine's very sweet. It's it's pure lemon lollipop or like honey lemon cough drop.
Really, yeah, mine's completely different. I'm not gonna lie to you, man. Like I have not had this beer. It's gonna be 15 plus years since I've had this
Really?
beer. Yeah, oh
Wow.
yeah. I can't remember last time I've had it. I know I have. Maybe I had it once or twice randomly, but I can't remember. And I dig on. I like Fuller's. I mean, they're what's the vintage ales.
Oh
Or
yeah, that's a
yeah,
good one.
yeah, that's one of the good ones. And I've had a bunch of them, but I don't remember having this, and I don't remember enjoying it this much. And actually, I'm enjoying the crap out of this. It's got a
You ever
decent
had
for me.
it?
Go ahead.
You ever had it on cask?
Nah, Nah. There's a place out here, well, close to me, about an hour and a half away, that has it on cask on rotation. But it's like a restaurant, and it's kind of in the middle of Pennsylvania, and I haven't been out that way. But when I get out that way, I'll definitely pop in there. But I've had beers much like this on
Mhm.
cask. We have a brewery relatively close to me, about 35, 40 minutes away, called Bomb Place Brewing. They pretty much they don't exclusively do pub ale, but that's a bulk of what they do. And they have their flagship beer is a best bitter, and dark mild and a best bitter, two of them, and they're always rotating them on cask. So
Mm. It's funny now that it's warming up a little. I can pull a little bit of those English hops out of here, so it's like a little. I don't know, I guess you call it like earthy kind of hops, like just kind of like it's certainly not citrusy or piney, nothing like that. But it's not to the spicy extent like you would get like in a lot of German, like in the German Pilsner or something like that. I don't know what they use, probably Falconer's Flighters or Fuggles, you know?
yeah. No, this is definitely for me. It's very wet teabag, wet English
Yeah.
teabag, like generic, like orange pico black tea mix. If you ever kind of just drank like a super high dose tea, or just kind of sucked on a wet tea bag, and I don't know if
Mhm.
anybody's ever done that, but I
Yeah.
used to make tea bag. Note for anybody out there: if you ever have a wound on your body and you need it to stop bleeding, put a tea bag on it, and it will
Yeah.
stop
Or
bleeding.
honey.
Uh, well, tea bag actually has a chemical in it that cauterizes blood.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I dig it. I really do. It's malt forward. It's got this really nice kind of almost like brown bread with a little bit extra kind of sweetness to it. Nothing too crazy though. And then it's got to be like a crystal malt, like brown, something darker mixture in combination with classic English hops. It's got to be.
Yeah.
I always default to either, like you said, Fugly, or even like Kent Golding, something along those lines.
To me, it's a. Also, I mean, it's to me, it's rather sweet, which is probably due more to the age. A lot of the hops drop out
Mm-hmm.
over time. It's also the English yeast esters. Like this, to me, this is very appley. Like it's almost like apple juice, but I do get like the tea bag kind of sensation you were talking about.
Yeah, mine doesn't really have anything close to apple. I attribute that with age, to be honest
Yeah.
with you. It really is that bounce back between the malt and the hops for me that really kind of plays really well. And the only thing I would say about it, if I'm going to sit here and kind of dig on anything or say negative, and I don't think this is negative because I don't think it's inherent out of style, but it's a little hefty for a 4% beer. It has a little bit of, it's not flabby or super dense, but it's just, I thought it would be a little bit thinner in a good way. It's not dense by any means, but that's the only
Really?
thing.
That's
Probably
what I was
not.
about to ask you. Like, how would you describe the mouthfeel? Because to me, it's it throws me off because like the actual carbonation seems low, which makes me think that it's like kind of light bodied. But I'd say it's
It's not.
probably
Yeah.
it's probably like medium,
Hmm.
but
Yeah,
with
but
like low carbonation.
but seeing it's not super dark. It being it's 4%, I expected to have a thinner mouthfeel. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Something. This is probably a little bit heftier than a beer of this. If you're just going this coloration, like I don't know, like a Marzen or Vienna Pills or something like that, it's definitely heftier than that.
Yeah.
It makes sense. Being an English beer and not a lager, but no, honestly, I'm pleasantly surprised. I thought this was going to be okay. This is fine, but I'm
Yeah.
not hating on this, especially I picked this up for $9.50 for a 4-pack.
Oh, you got the whole 4-pack or just
Yeah,
one?
Wegmans they don't sell
They don't do
singles
singles.
unless it's like high ABV or large format. They do have a fridge for single 4-packs, but it's all like hazies and stuff like that. So a lot of the traditional beers, it's either 4 or large format.
Yeah, this is 4.7, which by British standards is too heavy to be a session beer, but I mean, anything's a session beer if you have the time.
Anything session beer if you try hard enough.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I
So
mean, you could drink a Bourbon County over 2 hours, and
mhm.
which I've
You could drink
done.
4 bourbon counties over 2 hours if you try hard enough. You might not go to sleep. You might pass out, but still.
Like I said, I have had this beer many times, and I would say like this is probably like the least best time that I'm having it because I've actually had this on cask at Mahar's in Albany. Um, But usually when I'm getting in bottles, I mean, it's really hard to get fresh European beer in Florida, or like remotely fresh. But I will say, like, this is drinking okay. To me, it's just like, I notice how old it is because I'm a seasoned beer drinker. But like, if my girlfriend Christina was here, she probably wouldn't know unless I pointed it out. Because I'm like, it's very cardboardy. It's kind of buttery. But otherwise, like, I'm picking up on the the authentic English yeast esters and like the real, I guess, terroir, I guess you could call it. So I mean, normally this beer is great. This particular bottle I'm holding in my hand is only okay. So I'm gonna give this bottle, I think, like a 6 out of 10, like a C plus, maybe. What
Okay.
do you?
Yeah, I mean, I'd definitely go higher. I don't really grade stuff, but if I were to, I'd be in the, if I'm going to go like on a scale of hundreds, I'd probably be in the mid 80s somewhere
Yeah.
for me. I mean, it's low ABV. It's giving me a decent malt base to it. It's
Mhm.
got a nice kind of tannic hop to it, and it's I'm team low ABV. Anything below 5% is always on my radar. Let's put it this way: I would not have bought this beer had you not sent me that picture of your fridge.
Yeah.
Um, and I now might buy this beer more, being that I've had it recently. And that's kind of like the way it is with a lot of these classics. We get away from them, we forget how good they
Yeah.
are.
Yeah.
And this one's drinking pretty damn good for me.
Cool. All right. Well, thanks to Matt from Massive Beers for doing this collab review. And I'm sure
Thanks for having me, brother.
Yeah, we're gonna do a podcast on my show. So I'm sure that's linked up here, down there, somewhere. I don't know. So thanks again, Matt, and I will see you in the podcast. Cheers.
Cheers.
Somebody brewed it. Chad just reviewed it. Thanks for watching Chad's beer review. Trust me, the next episode will be a lot better.